Yes, Indiana won the national championship. Yes, Auburn fans want Auburn to be like Indiana. I don't really fully get what that means.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. It's a bonus edition of the show. We're joined by Ben Taylor of Auburn Opelika this morning, part of the Auburn Network family of stations. I think the national championship game from earlier this week is fascinating because it's such an outlier of what the system has been. And we see outliers, Ben, every now and then. Heck, 2010 Auburn was a tremendous outlier. We saw it with TCU a few seasons ago before they got steamrolled by Georgia in the national championship. And now you have Indiana, who at the moment is an outlier. Now, the quick ascension of Curt Cignetti has Auburn fans and every other team in college football, it feels like, who has a new head coach, feeling hopeful, feeling eager for the next few seasons to get going. So, like, can our ascension be as fast as Indiana's was? And I do think there's some caveats here that make Indiana special. But I know you've seen this too. You're chronically online, just like I am. And you're seeing so many Auburn fans be like, you know what? I don't even care about the rankings anymore. I don't even care about the rankings anymore. Give me all the 3 stars. Alex Golesh can win with those guys. Do you think that's too much of a correction in favor of seeing what Indiana has done with Curt Cignetti?
Yes, because the trade-off that Curt Cignetti had with Indiana was, yes, he had 0 5-stars. Yes, he only had 8 4-stars. And then he had a bunch of 3 stars and 2 stars. But the average age of the Indiana player was 24 years old. That's a lot of experience.
Right.
So the question then goes to, okay, you talk, even Saban said it in the pregame hoopla, we never looked at stars. BS, you didn't, because you had a ton of 5-stars that came to Alabama. So don't tell me that you didn't look at stars. You did. If you didn't, your assistant coaches did. But I guess the question kind of goes then, Zach, do you want 5 stars out of high school that you can make better and you can basically develop? Or do you go like Cignetti and grab people out of the portal that end up being 23, 24 years old that have 4.5 to 5 years of football experience? May not be game experience, but at least it's on the field experience playing against other collegiate players. So
right.
What's your trade-off? Do you want your superstars at the beginning, or do you want to wait and see who is a 1, 2, or 3-star that develops into a 5-star that you go, hey, I can use that guy? Because
yeah. I mean, regardless of any team you have, if you want to achieve something, you need lightning to strike. Yeah. And Auburn had that happen 3 times in the 2010s, and those were the 3 best seasons of those years. And the lightning comes in the form, most of the time, it comes in the form of a quarterback. Cam Newton, Nick Marshall. If you want to say Jarrett Stidham or Kerryon Johnson for 2017, I'm fine with it. Or it's probably a combination of those. But still, all quarterbacks that you brought in. And you're seeing that throughout the college football playoff like crazy. I mean, the 2 teams that played Monday night were 2 portal quarterbacks, that moved around in their career. And you see that all the time now in the college football playoff. And so then you look at Auburn's situation and you hope, okay, well, Byron Brown could be lightning. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. He could absolutely be lightning. But you're right about the first question you asked there. Do you want the talent do you want young talent from the portal, or do you want these guys out of high school? I mean, the guy we got earlier in the week, Kamari Todd, I think is fascinating. He comes from Chattanooga, played 500 snaps on defense, another 100 on special teams or whatever. And you know what he is. He's a nickel DB in one of the hardest positions to play in this era of college football. And he seems comfortable. Now, there's some assumptions you got to make. Can he take that next step, from that level of competition to the SEC? Sure. But he's not being brought in to be a starter. Yesterday, I did this show, Ben, on on him. And then like, okay, you got him, which is great. And he's not a super like sought after transfer, but he's got a ton of experience. But compare him to Donovan Starr. And I mean, no shade to Donovan Starr. He was a highly rated defensive back. We got him. It was this big win, flipped him from Vanderbilt, and we didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
He was a reserve guy, a depth piece. And now he's at Clemson, and he'll probably start for Clemson either this year or next year and be a big piece for it. But we didn't get, like Auburn didn't get anything out of it. This big off the season win, off the field win, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And
So,
then you look at an addition like Kamari Todd, or like, let's go even deeper, like Gavin Jenkins from USF. Like, that's the safest move you can possibly have.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy from the portal that's probably not going to play this year, follow the staff, and it's like, all right, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with them in a few years. I do wonder how much that is going to change over the course of the next few off seasons.
Let me ask you, let me pose this question to you then as well. Let's go back to Kamari Todd. So when the people present the fact where they go, can he make that jump? Can he make that transition to the next level? Had you rather be asking that question about a guy that's got 600 snaps when you include both defensive and special team snaps? Or do you ask that question to the 5-star that has 0 collegiate snaps that you're expecting to come in and put on the field, hopefully immediately, if not immediately, at least midway through the season after development? I rather go with the guy with the 600 snaps with experience against D1 level football.
Yeah.
At least for year one. That may not be the long-term plan, for year 4. Like the 5-star may pan out to be better than him. But for year one, when you say, can he make that jump? Well, can a high school kid make that jump? I don't think so. So
yeah, it's nuanced though, right? Because there's a balance of, okay, building for the future, but also in this new era of college football is every year one.
Yeah.
Because the 4/5-star, the highly touted guy coming, and let's say more 4-star. If you're a 5-star, you're probably playing as a freshman. So like the 4-star guys coming out, let's stay with the discussion of Donovan Starr, for instance. Not that once again, I want to be very clear. We're not picking on Donovan Starr. I hate that he's not going to be great at Auburn. He has a chance to be great somewhere else.
It's okay. He's no longer with us. You can talk bad about him. It's all right.
No, I'm not going to. He didn't do anything wrong. I'm not going to. But just from a management standpoint, if you're playing the long game and he's going to stay, you're comfortable paying for the upside. You're paying for the upside with him sitting on the bench as a backup and not playing. But in this age of college football, if you look at it where every year is year one, because you have to look at this roster as just a 2026 roster.
Right.
You can't look at it for 2027 and 2028. And there are some additions that would be exciting down the road. I mean, the redshirt freshmen on this team are super, super fun. You got 2 in the quarterback room that I think are very intriguing for different reasons. And, there's already been a little bit of a discussion about how like they're going to compete for a job after Byron Brown. I'm like, man, that is so far from now. Like the odds of both of these guys being on the roster next year, I think it's pretty slim. Nothing against them. It's just the era that we live in, especially quarterback, right? So I don't know. It's fun to see. It's fun to look at the, how different coaches are balancing this. And I'm sure with so many guys leaving and you had to rebuild the roster in such a short amount of time, there was probably a little bit of like a blitzkrieg mindset with this of like, we just got to get guys that we like and we've got to get as many of them as possible. And we can't spend all the money in the world, but like, let's hope it works. And so some of this is, I'm assuming they couldn't be as selective as they wanted to be because they had to add 30 guys, but will be fun to see what it looks like moving forward.
I will say the original question, can Auburn be like Indiana? I think a lot of programs are asking that exact same question, not just Auburn, like others are, because Cignetti now has thrown the gauntlet down that you don't have to hear the excuse of give me 3 years or give me a full development cycle of 4 years. He did it in 2. Now, he did it by piecing it together, but he honestly did it in 1, Zach. If you would have said when Hugh came in or when Harsin came in, hey, you're not going to go to the playoffs or you're not going to win a national title, but you're going to go 11-2.
Yeah.
Would you have taken that? Everybody would have taken that. Every Auburn fan would have taken 11-2. And so, and that's what happened Cignetti's first year. And then he goes undefeated year number 2. Now, is that sustainable with Mendoza gone? Mendoza's brother now announcing he's transferring. And yes, he does have a portal quarterback coming in that's going to see significant playing time. So who knows if you still want to be Cignetti when it comes year 3 and 4, if he can keep it going, especially in a very top-heavy Big Ten. But I'm interested to see, is it not only Auburn asking that question, is it other schools when a coach comes in the interview and says, I'm going to need 3 years, and they're going to go, well, he only took him 2. So what are you doing? And honestly, it only took him 1. It didn't really take him 2. It took him 1 to at least go 11-2. So he did it overnight. Not saying that that's what we're expecting out of you, but I don't want to hear 3 and 4 years anymore.
Yeah. Which is what we were told from the previous regime. And that seems you're not hearing that from Golesh, which is good. Is good. All right. Overall portal impact Auburn could have this season and a few guys that stand out. That's next right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Ben Taylor, the NFL playoffs are still going on.
Oh, you mentioned Stidham earlier. Put some respect on that name. He's starting quarterback for Denver.
That's right. And he's a 5.5-point underdog, according to our friends at FanDuel, at home against the visiting New England Patriots in the AFC Championship. And then the Seattle Seahawks hosting the LA Rams. Seattle 2.5-point favorites. So get in on the action. Who do you think is going to go to the Super Bowl? Let us know in the chat. Also, go check out FanDuel. Tell them, make some money. FanDuel is the best place to get in on the action all playoff long. Check out FanDuel.com today. Thank you so much for making Locked on Auburn your first listen every single day. So, I mean, it definitely seems like the meat of the portal is behind us. I think you'll still get a few pieces here and there. Then I think there'll be a little bit of a wave after spring. But for the most part, I think your contributors have been added. I think the biggest question, the biggest concern for most Auburn people going into this was O-line and D-line. Do you think they've done enough at those two position groups? Did they beef up the trenches enough, Ben?
No, I would like to see a little bit of depth just in case. But now I probably would have said that if they would have signed 3 more than what they did. I'm one of those that believes, especially offensive line. You and I have had this discussion before because you're big lover of the offensive line. And I've said, it takes everything from having the guy in the right position on the offensive line to the communication amongst the offensive line. Those guys that have been used to moving around, which Auburn has a few of those now, that have played everywhere from, right side to left side to, one of them, I forgot which one it was, has played like every position on the line. He's been a center, he's been a guard, he's been a tackle. But I like to get him in one position. And injuries, man, those offensive linemen, they take a beating. I'm sorry, they do. And they need a break every now and then. And you're in a fantasy world if you can be like we mentioned earlier, Indiana, where you maintain your offensive line throughout the entire season. I just don't think that that's the norm. I think that you're going to have some replacements and some people and some moving parts. So short answer to your question, no, I would love, even though it's not a starter we're probably going to get, Zach, I would love to see 1 or 2 depth pieces on offense, as well as 1 or even more than that, some depth pieces on the defensive line for Auburn. Even if, again, it goes back to that, is there that 22 or 23-year-old out there that's had snaps that can come in and at least contribute when needed?
Yeah. I'm more concerned on the defensive line aspect of things. The O-line, I think it's going to work itself out. Like, they all make sense. Defensive line, it seems like there were a few guys they missed out on. They're just young. I mean, as we sit here and have this conversation, you have 4 true sophomores. You have a junior in St. Ferrier from App State. And you have Cody Sigler, the lone senior on the interior defensive line group. Corey Wells is a freshman, I think will play. And then your edge guys, I'm just concerned. Like the pass rush is concerning to me. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope Jared Smith takes that step that we've seen so many other guys take in the system, going from, true freshman to true sophomore. But he needs help. And there's just so much importance on him and Deshaun Womack that they brought in at edge, and Nate Johnson from Mizzou.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see exactly what that looks like. But yeah, pass rush, I think, is my biggest question on this roster right now.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. Well, it's not just pass rush. I mean, you talked about how young they are on the interior of it. I mean, I'm just worried about that run defense too. I mean, you go against a run heavy team and a very, let's just call it senior offensive line as far as who Auburn goes up against. And I mean, they could gash Auburn for a little bit. Maybe the linebackers can help on that. I mean, how do you think that Auburn it looks linebacker room wise?
Yeah, I mean, they may have one of the best linebackers in college football, and that's where I was going next. Like, I do think in the rushing attack, and maybe even with pass rush, I think you can use the linebackers to supplement the defensive line. So, and I think Durkin will be good at scheming that up. So I think that's the answer for sure. For sure. Ben Taylor, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
KUnetwork.com is the best way. Of course, you can click on the WANI logo. We do sports each and every morning just after 7. Would love for you guys to join us.
Yep. Hey, please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.